Were any of you one of the 4,100 people that got introduced to the Rover Reddit this morning? I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm not sure if I read it right at this point. This clearly overwhelmed, clearly young and inexperienced OP reaches out because they're not sure what to do. People tear them to shreds. And I'm confused, right? Because I'm reading this, I'm reading the text messages, I'm reading the summary, and everybody's just like, well, this is your own fault. You agreed to do the job. And they're tearing them apart, even though the clients admit to making a breach. And there's nothing inconsistent between the narrative and the text messages to suggest that OP did anything maliciously. Now, could OP have communicated better? Could OP have done better? Yeah, probably. But all of us could and would and should in all of those moments that are like that, right? But what's wild to me is the only thing that I can find that OP was like truly guilty of is being a low-page worker in a gig job. Between the narrative and the communications, it's pretty clear there was a miscommunication between what was expected and what was going to happen. Apparently, OP was told that she needs to do 3 walks a day, although the last sitter didn't have to do it, so that was fine. And that she was going to have to make sure that they ate breakfast and dinner. No big deal, right? Come to find out, day 7 in a 15-day run, that they have been recording her sleeping on the couch and that they're aware that their very particular uncommunicated rules have not been followed. It's at this time that she finds out that if one of the dogs, the one with the most issues, is not participating in the eating, she needs to hand feed him. Experienced pet sitters know you don't force any animals to eat. You report if they are not eating for a long time, but if the animal is eating at least 1 meal voraciously a day, you're not too concerned, even if they do get 2 meals a day, because every animal adjusts to anxiety and changes in the home very differently. It's also at this time that she finds out that there are specific times, not windows, in which all of this is to occur. And let's bear in mind that these time slots didn't even take effect on the first day when they asked her to arrive late. Regular pet sitters know that dogs that are used to being walked at certain times of day regularly throughout the day are used to being walked at certain times of day regularly throughout the day, and they don't typically turn back unless they have a good reason, like it's hot in the middle of the summer, like they don't want their paws on the hot asphalt, like they already have stomach issues and they don't feel well. Dogs want to be outside. Dogs want to play. Dogs want to go to walk. It's also at this time that she finds out that that midday walk is mandatory, not optional, even though it was optional for the last sitter. The dogs are regularly not wanting to go out midday anyway. They're turning back. And the owners are like, whoopsies, forgot to let you know this key phrase for this thing that happens very regularly that we might have need to warn you about so that you would know not to turn back. Now, a lot of people are giving her cred because, oh, it's only like an hour and a half of work every day, which is not true because if you total up the time, without any transportation, she has to be at this for a minimum of 4.5 hours a day. From 8 to 8, doing this every day for 15 days, overtime in most states. I have never had an employer that would be okay with me missing the start of the day, the middle of the day, and the end of the day to go do another job for somebody else. It is never legal to be paid less than minimum wage, even if you do contract work, and to be held hostage for less than minimum wage just because some people think you made an agreement is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't know any job that's going to let me come and go as I please to go work for somebody else. I don't know any shift that's going to be like, I'm going to need to get off early, I'm going to need to get in late because I have this dog I need to walk. They won't even let me do that with my own dog. And I found it even more alarming that people were dragging her in the comments for having some standards when the standards were switched on her before she could even begin the job. They weren't agreed on, but the pet owners did it anyway. I think the most insulting part of this is how many people were upset that OP complained about having to sleep on the couch at this time, even though she was promised a bed. But what kept getting missed were all of the things that the clients kept changing a week into the protocol. There's no reason to change it if that was the agreement. So they say, fine, you can have a bed if you want, but you have to wash the sheets because that's not our job. Or you can go home. Either way, you have to be here for these 3 time slots. And bear in mind that if OP decided to go home, she's adding travel time to and from wherever she's going, when the agreement was that she was going to have a place to sleep and not have to travel. There's also nowhere in the communications that OP was going to be recorded in places where she was supposed to have expectations of privacy. And there was also nowhere in the communications after she said that she was being recorded that she was not going to be recorded in the bedrooms. You can bet your bottom dollar somebody as problematic as these people are still going to be recording her in the bedrooms. No neighbors, no family, no friends, nobody who could help these people out when the pet sitter, the paid pet sitter, dropped out at the last second. How is that not a red flag? Somehow it wasn't a red flag that the last sitter flaked out. Somehow it wasn't a red flag that these easy dogs didn't have somebody who could pop in the morning or pop in at night or maybe even in the afternoon for a little bit of fun time in this 5-bedroom suburban house. And I'll take the red flag one step further. Rover charges an arm and a leg, an absolute premium, for which the pet sitter takes out a massive cut. So if these guys are willing to pay through the nose for a last-minute sitter and nobody else can help them, why is that not a red flag to everybody on this sub? The economy is about to get real bad, real fast. And if this is how we're going to treat our fellow workers, you can bet your bottom dollar all of us will be bottoming out. And the only people standing up for OP are the people who have had to give up full-time work for less than minimum wage to make people like this happy to maintain a 5-star rating. All of this to point out just how unrealistically and how unnecessarily unkind people were to OP, who needed a little bit of guidance to know what not to do for the future. But to understand that, not everything is at the fault of the worker. If the worker doesn't know what the expectations are, the worker can't provide it. And if that's not a better allegory for what's going on right now, I don't know what is. And for the people trying to pick OP apart for making an agreement that was later modified and then modified and then modified and not wanting to stick to that, shame on you. I bet every employer you've ever had has done the same thing to you, and I'm absolutely positive how upset you were at it. Treat each other with some kindness. Treat each other with some understanding. Think past this moment, because if you don't think past this moment, all of our moments are going to be gone.